Assalamu alaikum, my dear brothers and sisters. Welcome back to the Hijrah channel. I am Yasir. As you will be well aware by now, that chicken, that I was born in Birmingham in Britain. I served in the police for 16 years and I left my job. I left Britain and I made emigration away from the West. The reasons as to why I left, I wanted to do this video and go into those reasons. However, I'm just going to show you a quick clip which I've come across recently, and this clip identifies all those reasons as to why I left. And then after the clip, I will go into a little bit of detail as to who these people are that caused me to leave Britain. Thank you.
ثم لا يجدون أي دليل ولا حجة على أن أحدا من هؤلاء قتل الأطفال، لكن هم قتلوا الأطفال قبل ويقتلوا الأطفال في الحال وقتلوا الأطفال بعد، لا حساب عليهم. إنما قتل الأطفال جريمة إن جاء من آل فلان. هذا التقدم، هذا حقوق الإنسان، هذا النظام، هذا التطور. أعوذ بالله من غضب الله. تنتهك الحرمات وتضرب المستشفيات ثم يسكت عن ذلك، وأن يقولوا في دولهم المتقدمة من غر التغريد من شعبنا ينصر فيها المظلومين في غزة فعليه سجن كذا وغرامة كذا. هذه الحرية، هذا حقوق الإنسان برزت في قوانينهم وفي قراراتهم. من هم؟ هم الذين أذلوا عند الله تعالى في حالهم هذا من الجعل ومن البعوض ومن الحيوانات. هم أضل من ذلك. تبجحات بمنع إيصال المساعدات الإنسانية للمظلومين المعتدى عليهم في نظام من؟ الحضارة المتقدمة الغربية. من نظام هذا؟ بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ممنوع ننقذ إنسان عطشان جيعان مرضان معتدى عليه، ممنوع تنقذه. نظام متقدم متطور ممنوع إنقاذه. ممنوع إنقاذ كيف؟ ممنوع مساعدته في أي ميزان، في أي عقل. ما هذا النظام؟ هم هذا كذا. اكشف الله لكم عوراتهم ليستحي منكم من يقدسهم، ليستحي منكم من يعظمهم، ليستحي منكم من ترك بناته يتشبهون بهن، ليستحي منكم من ترك أولاده يقتدون يتابعون برامجهم. لترجعوا إلى الشرف، لترجعوا إلى الكرامة، لترجعوا إلى العزة، عزة الاقتداء بمحمد. إلا في الاقتداء به فلنا الشرف ولنا العز والكرامة بمتابعة محمد زين الوجود صلى الله عليه وسلم. ويا مسلمين بأهوائكم اتبعتم فسقا ومجرمين، أنقذوا أنفسكم قبل الوفاة. فإني أخشى على أحدكم عند الموت أن يزاغ قلبه فلا يبقى في ذرة من إيمان ويحشر مع الكفرة. وأخشى على أحدكم أن يزلزل في القبر عند السؤال فلا يستطيع أن يجيب عن محمد من هو ولا ما مقامه. وأخشى أن يكبر في بلاد المسلمين ويحشر مع نصراني أو يهودي أو ملحد لأنه تشبه به وأخذ فكره وأخذ أسلوبه في الحياة. يا معشر أهل الإسلام، الدين غالي والإنسانية غالية. لا تبيعوا أنفسكم بالرخيص، لا تبيعوا أنفسكم لعدوكم.
And so there you have it, a very poignant message in that clip about a group of people who seem to please the whole world. They make the rules for everybody else, however, never abide by those rules themselves. And time and again, they break and breach and violate international law. And so who are these people? Once we get to the bottom of who these people are, only then will we come to understand what we are dealing with and the level of corruption that they have been applying right across the whole world. And not recently, this has been going on for a fair few hundreds of years by now. And those answers we will find only in the Holy Qur'an. And of course, there are other sources, but we will primarily stick to the Holy Qur'an, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Nahl, a verse which often my teacher quotes at the start of his lectures, Maulana Imran Nazar Hussain, and the verse is from Surah Al-Nahl, فَأَعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ بِسْمِ اللَّهِ الرَّحْمَنِ الرَّحِيمِ وَنَزَّلْنَا عَلَيْكَ الْكِتَابَ تِبْيَانًا لِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ وَهُدًى وَرَحْمَةً وَبُشْرَى لِلْمُسْلِمِينَ صدق الله المولى العظيم. And the verse translates into a loose translation as to and we are sent upon thee, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this book, so that it may explain all things, absolutely everything. And it has been indeed sent as a mercy and a blessing to you Muslims, should you choose to recite and follow the guidance found within this book, the Holy Qur'an. And so we ask the question, who are these people who are running the show, who are terrorists themselves, and however they decide as to who is in the right and who is in the wrong. And so the very same people who are running the state of Israel are today the same people who run the United States of America, the United Kingdom, and the rest of Europe. They are the same group of people. And ultimate question is, who are they? And we find in the Quran two verses about an entity which the Almighty God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, created, referred to in Christianity as Gog and Magog, and in Islamic eschatology as Ya'juj wa Ma'juj. And in Surah Al-Anbiya, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَحَرَامٌ عَلَىٰ قَرْيَةٍ أَهْلَكْنَاهَا أَنَّهُمْ لَا يَرْجِعُونَ حَتَّى إِذَا فُتِحَتْ يَأْجُوجُ وَمَأْجُوجُ وَهُمْ مِنْ كُدِبٍ يَنْسِلُونَ. I won't translate that verse. I suggest you go into the Quran and research Surah Al-Anbiya and study that verse. It talks about a town in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destroyed that town. He expelled the people from that town. He banned them that they can never return to that town to reclaim it as their own until Gog and Magog are released. In other words, these people have been banned for hundreds of years. Once they return to this land, it will be with the assistance of Gog and Magog. The best person, the best scholar of my knowledge who is able to explain this subject in its entirety in the most effective and best manner is, of course, my blessed teacher Maulana Imran Nazar Hussain, who has covered this subject extensively. I urge you to follow him, look at his lectures, and then you will understand. And so the town we identified is linked to Jerusalem, and so what we see is happening in the Holy Land. You may call it Palestine or Israel, we call it the Holy Land. What is happening in the Holy Land today, in order to understand that, you need to study the subject of Gog and Magog, and also the subject of the Antichrist, the Dajjal, the false Messiah. And so we, of course, know why today Western civilization, Western leaders, the Zionist crew have given a carte blanche green light to the State of Israel to cause absolute havoc, to cause bloodshed, to commit atrocities, to commit acts of terrorism. And this is all nothing new. It has been going on for quite a long period of time prior to World War I. Every single war that these people have waged upon mankind has always begun with an act of deception, an act of terrorism. These were the main reasons, once I identified these people, as to why I decided I need to move out of Britain and I need to start heading towards the east, or making my way eastwards. And of course I spent 8-9 months in Turkey, didn't quite settle there, and from there I moved to my home, my parents' lineage country of Azad Kashmir in Pakistan. And here I find myself today for 2 years now. I will finish this off with one more clip, which is probably the first clip that I saw of my teacher. This wasn't the exact clip, but the audio is somewhat similar, or words to the effect of what I heard him speak about initially, which caused me to start rereading history and studying religion in depth. I hope this video today gave you some vital information as to the reasons why I decided I had to leave Britain. In the subsequent videos I will talk about the initial steps that I had to take in order to put myself in the best position to emigrate as easily as possible, because of course I have a wife and I have 4 children too. Thank you for watching. Please do subscribe and share, and of course if you like, then click like. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
That when Dajjal is released in a day which is like a year, and Britain is his headquarters, I notice, as a student of international relations, I noticed that Britain strangely becomes the ruling state in the world. Come on, you explain to me. How do you explain a little obscure island off the coast of Europe, which never walked on the stage of history? An island that Napoleon contemptuously dismissed as a nation of shopkeepers. How do you explain that that little island establishes its rule over the whole world? Pax Britannia. Britain rules the world. I want to suggest to you tonight that the only man who can explain the emergence of Britain as the ruling state in the world at the time when it emerged is a man named Muhammad. Allah's blessings be upon him. And the explanation is that this is the work of the Antichrist. In 1914, if you would go back and do some research, you will find, as yet, air power has not as yet come. Your armies commanded the land, and your navy commands the sea. And Britain controls the seas of the world. In 1914, Britain commanded every strategic naval port in the whole world. This was not by accident. It is time for us to sit back now
and read history once again. It is because Britain was poised at that moment, commanding the seas around the world. And when Britain was on her knees, facing defeat, Britain, which was the ruling state in the world, is now facing defeat. Then the German Jews went to the British government and said, let's make a deal. If you will promise to give us the Holy Land, we'll bring the United States into the war on your side. Britain said, deal. You will see all of this on the last day. And so the United States entered into the war. And Britain won the war. In the process, the Ottoman Islamic Empire was defeated, was dismembered, and the Holy Land was liberated for the Jews. And so an act of terrorism led to this strategic target being achieved, the liberation of the Holy Land. But now, the United States takes over from Britain as the new ruling state in the world. In the same way that Britain had a mysterious relationship with the Holy Land and with the Jews, the United States now has that mysterious relationship with the Holy Land and with the Jews. The first country in the world to recognize the state of Israel is the United States of America. Is that by accident? No, not after today's lecture. You'll never think it's by accident. The United States presents the baby with everything that the baby needs to grow up to become not only a strong man but a superpower. Massive economic aid, massive military aid, massive transfer of cutting-edge military technology, some from the front door, a lot from the back door. And Israel grows and prospers. What is the explanation? Dajjal has completed a day which is like a year, and he's now in a day which is like a month. Phase 2 of his mission. We are located at that moment in time when a day which is like a month is about to end, and the day which is like a week is about to commence. The first ruling state was Britain. The second ruling state was the United States. The third and the last would be this impostor, the state of Israel. I am suggesting to you that Dajjal or the Antichrist would now have completed stage 2, a day which is like a month, and would be commencing stage 3, a day which is like a week.